All right. We are live from Circle Leadership Headquarters Studio in Perth, West Australia, reaching out as far as, I don't even know where you're located these days, James. Where in the world are you right now?
I'm in St. Pete, Florida.
St. Pete's, Florida. So
Yes.
We're going all the way around from Perth to Florida, opposite ends of the world.
Yep.
Very excited to have James on this live stream tonight. Was tonight here, morning where you are. James and I were fortunate enough to meet at the Level Up event on Emerald Coast back at the beginning of March that Chris Cumby had put on. And I was one of the keynote speakers, and James was one of the other epic presenters who was there and did an awesome session. And in chatting with James, I said, man, I've got an audience who would love to learn more about automation, AI, and anything else that you guys do in terms of for automating your marketing, your business, anything that you can share with us in that world. And would you be willing to jump on a live stream for about 20, 25 minutes to just share your wisdom with everyone in my network? And James kindly agreed to jump on. And so he's here now, and I won't take much of your thunder away. So I'll let you kind of introduce yourself a little bit in your own self, because like I say, I was just in awe of the work that you shared with us down there. And I'd love to just give the viewers a 5-minute synopsis on James Shockley, who you are, how you got to be where you are, and then let's get into how to automate the crap out of stuff.
Sounds good. So thank you, Dave, for having me on here. Name's James. I'm from Philadelphia originally, and I started my first business when I was 19 at Michigan State University, where I would make Snapchat geofilters for businesses, so for bars and restaurants. So
Right.
No one was doing it at the time. I just thought of a creative idea, thought it'd be fun. And then people started asking me, hey, can you manage our Instagram account? Because that started to become a big thing. In which I said, yeah, sure, I'll figure that out. And I ended up growing that into my my marketing agency, which is called Social Movement Media, where we've serviced hundreds of different clients and helped them create organic social media content. So we specialize in training you on filming video content, creating video content, things like that. And then from there, you'd get leads, right? So I was finding that, clients were dropping the ball sometimes on follow-ups and intaking their leads. So what we did was we created Marketing Mate, which is the automation system that I'll be reviewing with you guys today, right? So what I've discovered here is, automation can help save so much time. And there's this whole AI craze going on right now where everyone's like, oh, how can I integrate AI and AI this into my business? But really, you just need like 90% of it to be automation, and another 10% can be AI, honestly. You actually don't need as much AI as you think, as much as you need automation. So, I'll share with you guys today on that. But, overall, my mastery, my skill set is in, organic content creation and anything automation related. So, if you have any questions in those two fields, feel free to reach out to me. I'm the guy for those.
Yeah, perfect. We've got about 20, 25 minutes, I think, max, to share as much wisdom as possible. The only thing I want to share is, for me, when I look at business and marketing, we've automated a lot of our marketing at Circle Leadership. We have a systematic approach to the way that we market our business. But to me, it's like, and I think I did a post on this on my way back from Florida, and that about the stairs, right? So we've automated the stairs. We've created an escalator. So you go from having stairs where you physically have to walk up and you takes your time to get up there, to having escalators. But then people go and stand on the escalator instead of actually walking up the escalator and then accelerating. Not only is it automated, but hey, accelerating it as well. So to me, I think it's really fascinating. And so I'm looking forward to learning, mate. So if you want to share any screen or anything you need to do, but I'll let you take control. Alonso is watching as well. He was over there at the event. So, hey, Alonso.
Can you guys see my...
I might need to add it to the stream. There we go.
My screen?
Yeah, there we got it, man. We got it.
Awesome. All right. So, I love to say you can automate to dominate, right? So before we get started, I want to address why you shouldn't automate things. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's time and time again, I get on calls with people and I'm just like, I don't think you necessarily need to invest the time into automation, or like spending money into automation. You can invest the time to learn about it and do for basic things. But really, if you have spare time, and you're just getting started, you're still hustling, trying to do, outreach and things like that, you should probably just keep doing that manually for now so we can learn it better on to automate it in the future. If you bring in less than 10 leads a month, okay, so what I'm about to talk to you guys about is the sales process of automation, right? So that's what I specialize in. From the time a lead comes in to the time they sign, we automate everything in between. So if you bring in less than 10 leads a month, you don't need as much automation as you think. If you can remember to do all of your follow-ups, right, which is a tricky one, but if you're remembering to stay on top of your follow-ups, that's great. Then you probably don't need the automation because you're already doing it yourself. And if you have a high close rate, right, if you're like, no, I'm good, I've got enough business, I'm closing enough deals, you don't need automation as much as you think, right, because you're clearly already doing it, right? But if any of these don't apply to you, you probably could use some automation in your business. So a little about me, kind of like I discussed, I've helped automate hundreds of businesses. I've managed hundreds of businesses, social media accounts, organic content wise. I've worked with brands like Hard Rock Cafe, Skechers, Red Bull, Maserati, Chevy, IHOP. I've worked with major artists, music festivals, mom and pop shops, solopreneurs, in 30 different niches, right? So I've gained a lot of, I'm young, but I feel like I've gained a lot of experience in the sense I've seen how a lot of business operates, and I've seen a lot of different internal operations. I've come up with a lot of different marketing strategies. So, any question you may have, whether you think you have a random business or you're like, oh, you can't come up with a marketing plan for me, I probably can, right? So just know, I'm here to help you guys. So please leave any comments or questions you have.
Yeah, and at the end, we'll get your contact details and put them at the end if anybody wants to reach out for you for more than what you're going to share tonight. So,
yeah, definitely. So first thing to know about automation is it's basic technology. It exists out there everywhere you look, right? In most of the tools you have, there's automation. I mean, literally just setting up auto pay on, a payment plan that you have. That is literally automation that exists in your day-to-day life. You may just not realize that. It replaces repetitive tasks, right? Are you sending that same follow-up email to that same person? If you bring in a lead, are you sending that same message to that same type of prospect, right? Are you sending a similar contract out to people? Are you sending a similar invoice out to someone? Are you doing a manual action time and time again that is repetitive? Is it a structured task? If this happens, then this happens. If this doesn't happen, then this happens, right? Are you're mapping it out, right? So you're telling and programming the automations to do one thing at a time, right? And if this specific thing happens, trigger this next action, right? So that's really the essence of how automation works, right? We use trigger links and different hooks and things like that actually allow for the back-end automations to trigger when an email comes in, then you get an alert in Slack, or this new lead comes in, so then you're prompted to call them, right? It's an all structured program task, right? So that's where I tell people, like, you don't need AI as much as you think. You just need automation in the business. And then it improves your efficiency, right? So if you think about it, if you're manually doing a lot of these things, and now you're clicking a button to do all of these things, it's going to overall drastically improve your efficiency because now it's freeing up a ton of your time. And if you have a bunch more time left, think about all the things that you can do now with that time.
And more leads.
Exactly. And close more leads.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next point, your lead intake, right? So the first step in the sales automation process, right? You run your ad, you have your lead, you have your landing page, you have all the text right there. And then you have that form that someone fills out, right? That's where we start our process. So we automate the lead intake. This is where we might ask them a few qualifying questions, right? I'm working with a solar company right now, right? So the biggest thing we want to know is 1, what type of home do you have? 2, what is your electric bill? And 3, what zip code are you in so we can service you? The reason why we ask these is because, for example, if they are an RV, we're not going to, service that home because there's not enough roof land or surface for it.
Yeah.
Or if it's, they have a lower electric bill, if we know we can save them money on their electric bill, we can intake that information right from the lead intake and leverage that in our sale.
Yep.
Then your calendar booking, right? So for example, you ask those questions. Okay, great. You've already vetted that prospect to make sure that they're a good lead. So let's just get them right on your calendar. Don't have them submit and then you're driving in the car and you're like, oh, I got a new lead. I'll answer it when I get back home. You don't want to do that, because if you are not booking that lead within the first 5 minutes, your conversion rate drastically decreases. Vetting your prospects, right? So now that you've got your prospects vetted, you can now be assured that you're not going to be wasting your time on a prospect that, you would have been like, you're getting on a call and you're like 30 minutes in and you're like, oh, this is never going to go anywhere. And I just wasted my time. That's the worst feeling, right?
Yep.
From there, once the lead comes in, we can now start to organize your contacts, right? So you can literally say this person came in from the website, they are in this business, they have this, electricity bill, whatever it may be, and you can start to aggregate data points on these people. So and then in the future, maybe you had a really hot lead that just never closed, right? And you want to do a big outreach follow-up campaign. You can literally tag that person as a hot old lead, and then you click that, and the other 20 that you have as well, you click one button, you send an email, and it goes out to all 20 of them, right? So you can leverage that as well. Then your CRM, okay? People love to hate their CRM. It's just how it is. And I'm sure a lot of you have had a CRM, have a CRM, maybe don't use your CRM, overpaid for your CRM, hate your CRM. And some of you probably like your CRM, but I guarantee you've got cards that are backed up. You're like, oh, I haven't looked at this in a week. Let me move all this over. It's all over the place, right? Well, if you automate your CRM and turn it into a machine, then you're going to love your CRM, because your CRM now just became one of your best salespeople, because they're going to automate your entire follow-up process, right?
Yeah.
Ensuring that you literally never miss a lead and it slips through the cracks. Your reminders. So these are actually one of my favorite things that I love. The reminders before a call, right? So the person on a call with me will get reminders, but then I also will get reminders through a text message, and it'll say, hey, you have a call with Dave today. Here's your Zoom link. Here's the note-taking link for you to click so you can take your notes. So now, like, I get a text a minute before the call, I get on, right? Because how many times have you just been in the zone and you look up and you're like, oh shit, like I got to be on a call right now. Or, oh, I'm 5 minutes late. It helps you just kind of keep you on track, like a little digital assistant. Then your follow-ups, like I had said earlier with your CRM, what the beauty of automation can do is, let's say someone, says, follow up with me in 2 days, or follow up with me in 5 days, or maybe this time next week, right? There's all different variations as to when someone wants you to follow up with them, which I respect, right? But then once you follow up them once and they don't reply, you're going to want to follow up with them again in a specific cadence, right? So what we've done is we've created a note form where you can actually select, okay, yeah, do the 2-day follow-up. So in 2 days, Dave, you're going to get a follow-up email or text message from me, just doing a nonchalant follow-up, right? And then 3 days later, if you don't answer that, we're going to send another follow-up. Then you have your invoicing. So now when you send that invoice to someone, you can get paid on time. And if you don't get paid, you can set up automated follow-ups to then make sure that you are getting paid on the invoice, right? Because there's nothing worse than chasing someone down for money, right? So you might as well let automation do that. Now, as you can see, from the time a lead comes in to the time you get paid, we can automate the entire sales process right then and there for you. So now, when creating your automations, these are a few things that I like for people to think about. Is the intake process, right? Where are all the ways in which you meet a lead, right? So if you build out your own automations, right, the first thing I want you to do is identify, where do I bring in a lead? Am I going to a networking event? Is it coming in from my Instagram messages? Is it coming in through my website? Where is it coming in from, right? You want to identify all those sources. And then you want to start to map out how you go about intaking those leads. So from there, now that you are intaking those leads into one singular system, whether it be HubSpot, Marketing Mate, that's literally what we do, Salesforce, any of those ways, right? You then want to figure out how are we going to tag these prospects when they come into our lead intake system, right? Because there's nothing worse than a lead coming in and then you manually going and tagging them, because that's just not in our human nature to go into the CRM and update tags, right? You just weren't born to do that, right? So let the robot and the automations do that for you. So identify those before, like while you're building out these automations. Then we have your first impression, right? So what is, someone books a time in your calendar. What is the first thing they see, right? We're developing this new thing actually where when someone books on your calendar, it actually brings them to a back-end landing page where it shows you maybe video testimonials of you, you speaking, different like reviews, things that get someone hyped up, about you and your product. And they're like, all right, I just made a good decision. I'm going to get on a call with this person and listen and hear them out because, I'm reinforcing them with more info from me. Same thing with the email and text message. I love to send out an email confirming the call, but then like 2 minutes later, you'll get what seems like a personalized text from me saying, hey, Dave, it's James. Just saw you book the time on my calendar. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you. Here's a Zoom link in case you need it. Talk soon, right? Something super simple.
Yep. Perfect.
Then when you get onto your call now, right, you have something next that's going to happen, right? You need to understand what are the next steps that could happen from this sales call, right? Is it schedule another meeting? Is it send a follow-up? Is it send a deck? There are specific number of things that you may do after a sales call, and you need to identify all those. Then we want to build out the follow-up process, right? There's two ways that you can do that, right? You can do the automated follow-up process, which I recommend, right? Where you build out, okay, text goes out here, an email goes out here, text goes out here. Don't underestimate the power of a text message, okay? A text message has a 95% open rate on average, right?
Wow.
Email has about a 30% open rate, right? If you think about it, you get a text, like most of the time you keep your text message thread clear, right? Or well, at least I do. But then on my email, I've got 60,000 unread emails, right?
Yeah.
So just think about how you look at messages in your day-to-day. And then finally, your contracts and payments. How are you going to automate those? Maybe through QuickBooks, through Stripe, with different DocuSigners or document signers. You can automate the follow-up with the getting the document signed. All of this stuff that I just showed you guys, we do all internally within Marketing Mate, so we can help you, automate the contracts right within, so you don't need any other third-party programs. But if you want to do this on your own, I'm going to show you guys some tools right now that you can go and do this, okay? So my favorite automation tools are Zapier.com. This is probably the easiest tool to use, right? So this is great where, you could set up a form, you put someone's information in, you click it, it automatically sends them a follow-up email, and then we can set it to where if they don't answer, it sends them another follow-up, all of that, right? You can link Twilio, texting, all of that, right? Then we have Make.com. Make.com is a little bit more advanced than Zapier. However, you can do a lot more controllability with it. If you get through Zapier and you're like, oh, like I'm hooked on automation, I just want to keep learning more, I would then recommend going into Make.com. But, if you're just getting started and you just want to kind of make a few little automations, definitely use Zapier. And then finally, Go High Level, by far my favorite one. It's what we use for Marketing Mate. What we've essentially done is become experts in automating through Go High Level. So it allows us to automate all the things that I just showed you in one singular platform. So that way you're not paying for 10 different tools, you're paying for one, and we're just integrating your entire life into automation, or your entire sales process into automation. So that right there, is, it's definitely learnable, Go High Level. However, if you need any help or you're currently using it and you're struggling with it, you're not seeing the value in it, let me know and I can definitely help. So Dave, that is
Go High Level is the one that's the back end of the platform that we use.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I run into that a lot where I speak with a lot of people and they're like, oh yeah, I'm using Go High Level. And, I come in and help them, optimize their Go High Level. And I've done that time and time again. I've actually partnered with other Go High Level agencies to do what I do. Because I am a big believer in pushing the limits into things, right? So I see what it does, and then I think, okay, well, where can we improve and build our own? And that's where, some of this note-taking form stuff I'm talking about, the contract signing, things like that, that's custom built within our system.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think, and it's like not to talk cost, but like I think sometimes people perceive that automation to be really cool, but it's going to be really expensive.
And the way I describe it is, if you're going to use Zapier and build out your own automations, it is so cheap. It is like a few bucks. You can set a bunch of stuff up for your business and really save a ton of time. For our stuff, we charge anywhere between $300 to $1,500 a month. But when you get to that $1,500 a month package, it is so advanced, Dave, that it is literally doing the job of multiple humans. And so, I mean, if you look at it, like $1,500 compared to a human salary, it's a lot cheaper. And I can promise you, we'll never miss a lead. Like all your follow-ups are done. Like they're just gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. So, if someone's gonna think, okay, what I know you said when you shouldn't, but like if you think you're at the stage for automation, what are the top 3 tips, that you would give to somebody who's thinks, okay, I'm getting at least 10 leads a month, to what you said, I would qualify that I should consider automation. What are your top 3 tips that you would give to people out there listening as to, step 1, step 2, step 3?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do it yourself, start educating yourself on what's out there, watch some basic YouTube videos on, Zapier, maybe Go High Level. Learn just the basics, right? The hardest part is getting over that learning curve, right? Once you get over that learning curve, it becomes a lot easier, right? So that's my first tip of advice. Spend a week, just watch YouTube videos. That's it, right? Learn. The second one is map things out, right? Map it out on, diagram charts and build out, scripts for what this email is going to say, what that email is going to say. So really make sure you're blueprinting them out before you go and build things, right? Because we've built tons of systems and, people want to change stuff, and it's actually harder to change and update things than it is to just build it from scratch the first time. And then lastly is make sure you are testing all of your automations before going live. There's stuff that we'll find randomly. There's little bugs and things like that are easy fixes, but you want to make sure that your automations are working properly every single time, because you have no idea how that could harm your potential lead source, right? So, I mean, just make sure you test everything 10 ways. Try and break it. We always try and break our automations, try and push it to the limits until we know and are confident that they're working.
Okay, there's a great question that's come up from Dale, and he said, how do you ensure the human touch? And this is a really cool one, because I watched Alex Hormozy's video. Did you see the one he did where he looked at all the different ways to get his team to replace themselves with AI and automation?
Yeah,
really cool. But parts of it, like as a consumer, I'd go, I would feel that the part of it, I'd go, I wouldn't be happy with that.
Yeah, and that's a great question, Dale. So I'm so happy you asked this. So one of the ways in which you can ensure the human touch is, let's say you're sending in a follow-up, right, to someone. You can actually have, we have a note form field where you can type in that whole message. And then what it does is it's called dynamic fields within Go High Level. And you can actually type things in that specific field that can then get imported into that actual follow-up message. So if you wanted to, you would actually have 3 fields, type up your follow-up messages, right? And it, in the sense of them. And then you could run it through AI to, recreate it to make it sound better, and then put it into that automated message. So it's almost personalizing the message. So if Dave, you and I talk and you're like, yeah, follow me 2 weeks, I'm going on a trip to California, right? Wherever. Yep. So then I type in, Dave is going to California, bring that up in the follow-up email. Okay, great. You run it through AI automation. It then inputs the text and says, Dave, I hope you had a great time in California. Checking in to see if you're getting caught up on work or not. Feel free to reach out when you're free, right? Something super basic.
So Alonso's just put video too.
Video to.
I'm not sure. Like, it's video as well. Like, can you do that for? Like, can you put video in there maybe as well? Can you automate
Yes.
that?
Yes, you can put video links, things like that into any type of message. You just do it through like Vimeo or different like YouTube.
So I could do up a little video if I wanted to go to people once they come into our process. Like, hey, welcome to thing. Looking forward to joining on our discovery call, whatever it might be.
Exactly.
A personalized video on that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, man, very cool. And then the last one I think we'll get from Dale because we're gonna have to cut it out soon. Could you make it give things options so the human selects? No, I'm hoping we haven't just.
And something cool you can do.
You're a bit frozen for a second there, mate. Hang on.
Yeah.
It's a great screenshot. I should take a picture of that, but yes. So the question is, there you go. You're back now. Could you make it give things options so that human selects, like 3 options he's just put in here?
Gotcha. Yeah. So you could text them 3 options, right? Like red, blue, purple. And, if they reply red, okay, great. Here's a link to our red t-shirt in our clothing store, right? Or you ask them that on a form, things like that. So you can ask specific options and trigger the next automation based on that option.
Yeah, cool. I'm just going to check. Make sure there's no other questions coming up on any of the other platforms. Not all of them come through in the feed, unfortunately.
Options, right? Like red, blue, purple. And, if they reply red, okay, great. Here's a link to our red t-shirt.
I don't even know where that's coming from now. All right. So, mate, so that's cool. So, yeah, so there's different options there. Gotta love technology, mate, especially when you're live.
Yes, you're right.
We just had a little bit of playback come through for some reason. I think it might have been the delay of when you were
frozen
for a second there. All good, mate. If people want to ask more questions, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing that and giving some insights into that, when you should and some things to consider and how much you can actually. It's quite surprising how much you can actually automate. And so if people want to get hold of you, James, what's the best way for them to do that?
So my email or my calendar link is just james.marketingmate.com. So that's just literally my calendar link for you. Or just go to james@marketingmate.com is my email. And that's how you can contact me.
So if I just put james@marketingmate.com.
Yep.
So for any of you who want to, I just put it in the comments there. If you'd like to reach out to James and learn more about your particular business, how you can automate that, especially from the sales and marketing component of it all. And I'm sure James will be able to give you some insights on other ways you can automate your business. And I know we didn't talk much about AI, but I'm sure you have some wisdom to share with people in that space too.
That I do.
But I love the fact that what you said, it's the automation is the big chunk of it all, where everyone's so I think allured by the AI, but it's actually the automation. And it's really cool for me because one of the things I challenge people on, James, is that function first, form second. And you got to get the function right and let the form reveal itself. But to me, AI is kind of like the form, and they want to, what's it all going to look like? And rather than going, well, what's it got to do?
Exactly.
Get the function right, and then the form will reveal itself, and then add that in at the end.
Exactly. Like I talk about, automating AI. Like, for example, you're still talking to AI, manually getting stuff from AI. But with automation, you can actually speed up that whole process by 90% too. So
right. So it's actually like having an escalator and walking up the escalator, not just
exactly. That's exactly what I thought of. AI and automation is like walking up an escalator. Automation is an escalator.
Yeah. And it's even like at the airport when they have those walking sidewalks. It's funny. You see a lot of people get onto the moving sidewalks and they'll walk along the moving sidewalks. But you put them on a set of automated stairs and they'll stand on them.
Yeah.
Look at it next time you're in the airport. I was observing it because how many airports I was in the last.
Interesting way to think about it.
Is everyone would be walking along the flat thing, but as soon as you put a set of stairs in an escalator, everyone would stand there. Because that little bit extra effort that it might take still, because I think the automation is so I don't have to walk up the stairs. Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's to get you up the stairs faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, we'll wrap up with that, mate. Thank you so much, man, for getting up this morning from St. Pete's and sharing your wisdom on automation and AI with us. Really appreciate that. Like I said, anybody wants to reach out, James's email address is in there. Check out marketingmate.com. He's working with all the people that I know, and he does. Everyone's raved about the work that he does and his team do. So get on to him, and find ways to automate and streamline these things. Because actually, what that does, and I'll leave this thought with everybody: why would you want to automate your sales process and your upfront stuff so you can actually spend more quality time with the clients once they become clients?
Exactly.
So you're not spending all the time trying to get clients; you're spending time with the clients you've got, and that's why you should automate the shit out of your stuff.
Automate that shit.
Automate that shit. All right, mate, thank you again so much for that. Look forward to catching up with you again soon, and all the best, mate. And like I say, I look forward to following your journey and seeing what else. But if you get any other hot tips, send them our way.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me.
Cheers.